Watching the Democrats and the leftist media try to figure out how Donald Trump won in 2016 is kind of like that scene from Zoolander where they're holding the computer and they're told the files are in the computer. So they break the computer open trying to get the files out, but it was digital, right? So the point I'm trying to make is they can see kind of what's happening, but they still don't get it. They understand the power of meme warfare and how the right uses social media more effectively, but they still don't get it. Right now, they're desperate to figure out how to beat Donald Trump. And unfortunately, they've chased after this progressive outrage on Twitter, which has made them all unlikable. They're proposing far left policies that most Americans don't want to get behind. But in response, the New York Times has penned a series of opinion pieces, or commissioned a series of opinion pieces to discuss the strategy towards defeating Donald Trump. In this piece, we can see 2020 meme team assemble. Donald Trump and his allies understand the power of content creation and shamelessness. The Democrats are still catching up. I'm impressed. They've finally taken note of the power of memes. Now, the left has never been particularly good at meming for one simple reason. Woke outrage is terrifying. On the right, they're making jokes, they're laughing, they're not firing each other, they're not canceling each other. They do sometimes, sure, but for the most part, you make a meme, you have a laugh, you move on. On the left, you step out of line, they'll get rid of you. It now seems that meme war has been declared on Donald Trump, at least by Elizabeth Warren, who I don't know who's behind it or whatever, but they announced the Warren meme team. And the goal is to utilize social media because they know that Donald Trump has the advantage. Unfortunately, as we can see in this opinion piece, and I will show you in a second, they haven't learned anything. So I should say they've learned they got to use memes, but they still don't understand the problem with cancel culture and woke far left bullying. In this piece, they actually advocate for more of this. So here's what I'll do today. Let's take a look at what's happening with the Warren meme team. Let's take a look at their arsenal of memes that they're preparing to use against Donald Trump. And then I want to show you why it's a terrible idea. Before we get started, head over to timcast.com/donate if you'd like to support my work. There are multiple ways you can give, but the best thing you can do is share this video. I'm competing with all these big media companies, and the past month or so, throttling has gotten more rampant. I thought I was in the clear. Turns out I'm not. We just saw a big expose showing that all of this content is being throttled. So if you like what I do, want to help me continue doing it and expand, hire more people, please consider sharing this video. It's the most powerful thing you can do. Let's read. Charlie Warzel writes, a long time ago, on a different internet, where photoshopped images of God Emperor Donald Trump riding atop a velociraptor were just a faint glimmer in a young meme lord's eye. The Republicans were in trouble. Barack Obama's 2008 win over John McCain was heralded as a digital over an analog. In 2012, Mitt Romney's technological secret weapon to track voters in real time crashed on Election Day. A 2012 profile of Mr. Obama's digital teen in The Atlantic exclaimed that the nerds shook up an ossifying Democratic tech structure. By 2014, the conventional wisdom was that progressives had lapped the Republican Party in the tech space. I heard rumors swirling that some of the Republican National Committee staff were scouring Silicon Valley churches for tech company hoodies looking for programmers to hire. They say 2 years later, the narrative flipped completely. Donald Trump's 2016 victory was quickly cast as a digital triumph. The campaign successfully harnessed its candidates' divisive populist rhetoric to plaster Facebook with ads. The ads worked in large part because of their incendiary messages. Stop. Wrong. But we'll read on. Mr. Trump's grassroots support online came from a legion of posters, message boards, communities, and Twitter pundits who flooded the internet with memes, toxic trolling, and hyper-partisan pages glorifying the candidate and vilifying his opponents. Democrats were flummoxed. I'll tell you my perspective. You see, I've been involved in the internet for a long time, whatever that means. I built my first computer when I was a little kid. I was like 8 or 9 years old. My family had CompuServe on DOS, I'm pretty sure, if you understand what that means. So I grew up on these internet forums. I grew up watching all of these things, happening around me. In the early 2010s, I was watching the wave of Anonymous in the hacker community. I have friends who were hackers. And guess what? They made jokes. They were offensive. Today, it's a really weird thing happened. I mean, the culture war has split groups down lines that we didn't think existed before. But what we're seeing now is the anti-establishment type people. There's many of them who make memes simply because they wanted Trump to burn it all down. A lot of people really just did like Trump, but a lot of people really hate PC culture. They want to be able to post a meme online, make a joke without fear of losing their job. So naturally, many of these people wanting to laugh and have a good time started playing with memes. I mean, look at Hong Kong, okay? The people, they use Pepe over there at those protests because it's about freedom. So here's what you get. On the left, if you step out of line, you're done. They'll take your job, they'll take your career, and they will salt the earth to make sure you never work again. I mean, take a look at what's going on with Deadspin. For those that aren't familiar, Deadspin is a woke leftist sports website. Everybody resigned when they were mandated to just stick to sports. Well, this guy, this poor guy, I feel bad for him. He seems like a nice dude. He got hired. Apparently he didn't know. He had no idea what was going on. All the writers quit, so the Deadspin owners hire him. He got mobbed hard on social media. This shows us two things. One, this woke outrage will make sure to salt the earth that is Deadspin, to make sure no one ever works there again and the company stays dead, because it's my way or the highway, they say. But they'll also make sure to tell you, if you are ignorant and have no idea and take a job, they will come for you too. Who wants to live this way? Well, I tell you what, think about the moral indignation that was Deadspin writers salting the earth to make sure the company dies. And now I bring you back to the opinion piece, where at the end, they make a very, very hilarious and incorrect assessment. They say, Republicans don't need to have a monopoly on outrage. Rather than the Trump variety of outrage and fear of the other, the correct blend of righteous progressive outrage on climate, inequality, and corruption could compete with the virality of the MAGA message. Outrage, indignation, and alarmism, sentiments proven to win online, can be harnessed by Democrats provided they choose the right candidate. Whether Democrats can compete with their integrity intact is unclear. But what is clear is that in 2019, one of the few ways to political power is to never, ever stop making content. First, that last point he made, spot on. Those who make the most content are going to have the biggest arsenal. It's the information war. It's an attention economy. But he is dead wrong if you think the path to victory for the left is moral indignation, outrage, and alarmism. Nobody likes it. This guy quit. Nobody wants to live under a boot. What happens on the right? You make a meme. It's a bad meme. What happens? Nobody shares it. That's about it. You make an offensive meme? Well, the left will try to cancel you. But guess what? The right's not going to cancel you. Someone mentioned, to me, like, but Tim, the right cancels people all the time. Full stop. When has the right threatened my life? Come to an event, physically threatened me, attacked my friends, screamed nonsense. Unfortunately for the left, that didn't happen. So no, you're wrong. I can say something like, I don't like Donald Trump. I think he's a crass, boorish old man who makes offensive things, and he has poor, in terms of character and confidence building, poor leadership skills. Guess what? The worst I get is, Tim, I think you're wrong. I disagree with you on that one, and it's boring. So I understand it's not the most offensive thing I could say. I've called Trump racist in the past, and I still have never had anyone try to get my YouTube channel deleted. And so I'm like, great. I can sit down with a Trump supporter and say, come on, man, don't you think about X? And we'll talk about it. And I disagree with them. And they certainly do have their cancel culture on that side. I mean, look at the James Gunn thing with Guardians of the Galaxy. It's just much, much less common. And I got to be honest, I have no fear. I have absolutely no fear that a mob of right-wingers is going to show up to my house and try and make sure I can never work again. Just not going to happen. I've gotten some right-wingers angry before, and they've tweeted mean things to me. And they tweet me, and I'm sorry, I got mean things tweeted at me. What does the left do? I put on an event in my area, and they waited to the very last minute, threatened, essentially, I want to be careful about this, there was a threat potentially to burn down a theater. They were calling people, smearing everybody. It was nightmarish. They had to send the police down to our event. They stood across the street from us screaming. Just the other day, on Halloween, a group of individuals went to journalist Andy No's house wearing masks of his face. Okay? So I get it, man. Are there creepy fringe weirdos on both sides? Of course. But what about the left? They don't understand is that this moral indignation is scary and nobody likes it. And you're actively pushing people away. I'm sorry, it just isn't going to work. You can absolutely counter the MAGA message with memes, but you have to make them fun and funny, and you can't cancel people. But therein lies the big problem. Take a look at what happens with Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle is a critically acclaimed comedy special that everybody loves. Not just conservatives. Dave Chappelle is not a conservative. he was partially critical of Trump in the special features. But Trump supporters did try to get him removed. They have, okay? Trump supporters have been outraged in the past. Their cancel culture exists far and wide. But for the most part, people on the right and Trump supporters know that you can make a meme, have a laugh, and that's the end of it. On the left, it is so difficult to get these interviews because they know if they step out of line, they will get canceled. So let's do this. I want to show you the Warren meme team. They say why. The most important political battlefield today is social media. The right currently enjoys an asymmetric advantage. We're fighting back by raising our content creation and distribution game. Warren Media Team organizes writer, artist, and marketer volunteers to help Senator Warren's supporters spread her message. Participation turns a campaign into a movement. We participate by helping even more people participate. And so they have a Google Doc where you can look at their plan and their breakdown and all of these things. And I'll tell you this, it's very clever. I think they've learned something important. You need to be fun and funny. They just don't have it anymore. It's generic, stodgy, and boring. There's no risk involved. You know, you can be funny in family-friendly ways, but part of the thrill of engaging in a political campaign in this way with memes is the risk. Did you push the line too far? How edgy can you make your meme? How edgy are you? Take a look at Vice Media. Man, they were so edgy, and they gave it all up. But it was popular, and it was popular not among bigots. Ricky Gervais is not a conservative, but he has no problem pushing the limits and being offensive. And that is an advantage the left will never have, because they don't make offensive content, they get offended. And so you run the risk of, on your own side, getting, well, as Obama put it, circular firing squad. So I appreciate that the Warren meme team can recognize this. They say, in 2004, micro-targeting helped Bush. In 2008, online organizing helped Obama. 2012, data science helped Obama. And 2016, social media helps Trump. They get it. The problem is the culture on the left, period. I tell you, they're saying outrage, indignation, and alarmism. Sentiments proven to win. They say progressive outrage on climate inequality and corruption. Okay, let's take a look at what the actual data says about this. Because a year ago, we saw this reporting. Is this, where's the... Americans strongly dislike PC culture. Youth isn't a good proxy for support of political correctness, and race isn't either. It is bad advice the New York Times is giving. So let's do this. Okay, if Warren's not going to be offensive, right? What can they produce? Well, let's pop open their first plan. So far, is that it? They haven't done much. I'm not going to pretend like we're going to see what they have, but a week ago they posted this. Warren has memes for that. Apparently she doesn't. What is this? You can do a lot with 2 cents. It's literally just an image. Facebook auto-generates these things. They're not memes, okay? Memes would be like what the Daily Wire did. The Daily Wire is Ben Shapiro's outlet. They made a photo of Trump giving the Medal of Honor to a dog, to the dog in the Conan, I think his name is. I could be wrong. And New York Times fact checks it. So they made a meme, a common meme showing a clip of all of these different shows where they're like, enhance, when they're looking at a photograph. And then finally, you see the image come into picture, and then all of a sudden you hear the other meme, we got him, and it shows the police breaking down the door and falling through the roof. Those are memes. Those are jokes. People relate to them. We understand what that is. This is just a photo somebody made because they have to be safe. Is police storming into someone's house, which is a meme, offensive? You bet it is. Marginalized communities have been traumatized by police kicking down doors. What about showing all of these old shows? Well, these old shows were predominantly cast with white people. And the technology, you see the point? So they play it safe. They make something that is not funny or fun at all. I'm going to be fair, okay? They have no followers. They haven't started yet. But I'd be willing to bet strongly their meme attempt is going to fail. Let me show you something, okay? Barack Obama recently came out and said, stop. Stop with the woke outrage. But the New York Times is saying they need to embrace it. Really? Take a look at this. Writers bash Obama for criticizing woke social justice warriors. They basically going to say it's a bygone time. Obama doesn't understand. How dare he point the finger at these young kids who are fighting for change? No, you don't get it. They're bullies and they're fighting for nothing, and nobody wants to live like that. But now it gets even better. Let me tell you. Look at this. I pulled up YouGov data. Barack Obama is mostly popular among millennials. So I tell you what. When Obama says chill, and he's got 66% positive opinion from millennials, Why are you telling him he's wrong? So let me tell you what the message is right now, okay? Barack Obama, widely popular among millennials. He says, chill out. Circular firing squads are bad. Stop. The left needs to stop attacking each other. You're never going to pass these purity tests. They still resist. Now you've got Bill Maher. Bill Maher, in my opinion, is more of an older liberal type. And he gets dragged by the left. Bill Maher's show has gone completely off the rails. Why? Because he had on Dennis Prager and some doctor. And they say he was defending anti-vaxxer and right-wing propaganda. Hey, maybe it's about time for some self-reflection, but they don't learn. What does the New York Times writer Charlie Warzel say? We need more progressive outrage and indignation. You're losing Obama, dude. You've lost Bill Maher a long time ago. You're losing Obama. It doesn't work. This is not what you need to do. I can appreciate they've learned a simple lesson about meme warfare. It just won't happen. Their memes are going to be inoffensive, silly, and make no sense. I mean, silly is not always that bad, but silly in the sense where you're going to be like, I don't know what that's supposed to be. Who are you making a meme for? I'll give you, one example I have to talk about is, actually, no, I'll cite, you guys know who Zuby is? He's a rapper. I don't want to call him a conservative. I think he's more libertarian, but I don't really know. He's about freedom. He's from the UK. And he recently said on Twitter that the reason he doesn't do more appearances on left-wing shows is that they don't invite him. That's really simple. It's an easy way to put it. Why is it that CNN is an echo chamber for the well, actually, I take that back. That's wrong. That's not true. They recently hired some very pro-Trump people, and there's been some internal turmoil. So I can respect that they've done that. But when it comes to CNN, the media people like Oliver Darcy and Brian Stelter, they never bring on principled opposition and facts. They just say things like conservatives are lying about all of these things, and there's no evidence. And they never bring anybody on to be like, here's the evidence, I can show you. They don't. They just publish newsletters where they're like, conservatives have no evidence of bias when there's copious amounts. Like Gizmodo reporting that Facebook, because of their staffers' bias, was suppressing news. Jack Dorsey himself saying we are too aggressive policing a meme that was being predominantly used by the right. And you also have Jack Dorsey acknowledging there's too many liberals at his company. Conservatives are scared to speak up. Those are just three off the top of my head. And they're not the only ones, okay? We have stories about, I think, Ronna McDaniel getting shadow banned from auto search on Twitter. It was an accident, they say. Yeah, well, they just had another accident where another conservative got suspended. And Twitter said, oops. The point is, there is ample evidence, but they never bring people on to counter this. And the reason for it, in my opinion, is they have to play it safe. If they bring on the wrong kind of person, the left will come for them. And you know what? They're on the left. They have no choice but to bend the knee. People like me, where my politics are pretty left, I bow to nobody. I just don't care. I'm not a big fan of Donald Trump. I say I'm not a big fan because he deserves credit for the things he's done that have been well. I have no problem saying that. I don't gotta like the guy to recognize the economy is doing really, really well. Good for you. I don't like the Saudi Arabia stuff. The Syria stuff's become questionable. There are real principled things to criticize him for. So I'm not a big fan. No, it is what it is. But I'll tell you what. I'll say what I want, and I will criticize the horde, the tribe of people who want you to bend the knee to their outrage. It won't work. People, look, I'm willing to stand up because I just don't care. But I assure you there are a lot of people who are leftist, who really do want, even Elizabeth Warren, who are scared to speak up about this. And so they don't. When Obama does, you know that change is happening. When Bill Maher finally brings on Dennis Prager, I mean, he brought on Milo Yiannopoulos before, so we can see it happening, okay? The woke outrage isn't working. They need to learn their lesson. And Barack Obama is the first step towards purging these bullies and the insanity. But heavens, New York Times, telling people to do more of it? To me, that is just plumb nuts. I will end with one last final thought. So let me go back to the Warren meme team. Again, I want to make sure I give respect to the Warren meme team insofar as they've identified a serious issue. The right does dominate memes. It's not just the right, though. A lot of people who didn't used to be Trump supporters and probably still don't consider themselves conservative, but support Trump, they're doing it because of political correctness reasons. And I'd be willing to bet a lot of the meme warriors, especially over at like r/the Donald, which makes a ton of these memes, aren't Republicans and probably weren't. They're just tired of being told to stop laughing. They're tired of being told it's not funny, don't say that. They're tired of bullies coming up and with their snooty elitism telling them what they can or can't do. And there's the big difference. We have the right producing memes that can be offensive, but too bad, it's funny. And you have the left presenting a snooty elitism. How dare you? Well, nobody wants to be on that side. It's boring, it's scary, and unfun. Why would I want to live that way? A lot of people don't. A lot of people just want to make jokes. And when the jokes do well on the right for Trump, other people see the laughter. They see the success and they say, ooh, I want to play too. And then they're welcomed in with open arms like, hey, come on, man, make some memes. Come join us. Just give it a shot. Make a meme. It'll be funny. And they'll make something offensive and they'll laugh and be like, whoa, dude, too soon. That just happened. Or that was over the line. Some people have made such offensive memes, they actually have been canceled. And the right's been like, dude, stop. Get out of here. That's crazy. Like really offensive stuff. Ideologically over the line. But for the most part, you make a silly Trump meme and people are going to laugh about it. What about the left? I was in Berkeley and some woman started talking on my camera and I asked her some questions and then she immediately panicked and was like, please don't use that. And I'm like, dude, you're talking to me while I'm filming in public. I'm going to use it. But I've reached out. I always try to reach out to the left first for comments and they don't do it for one simple reason. The left wants ideological purity. And when Barack Obama says, we got to chill out on this, they attack him for it. I'm sorry, dude, you're not going to beat Obama. He's widely popular. So let me end by saying this. They've finally started talking about meme warfare. I am being a bit silly, by the way. I hope you realize that. The meme team must assemble. And it is smart of Warren's team to start putting together this meme plan. It's not going to work. The culture on the left is, they've lost their visionaries. They've lost the artists. They've lost the people who really challenge and push the boundaries. You've lost Obama, one of the most popular figures the left had. You've lost Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle straight up saying, yada, 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 whatever I'm supposed to say. He's like, just get out of here. Ricky Gervais, you lost him. Joe Rogan, still, these people are all politically on the left, but they are not in line with what you want to do. They have no problem making offensive jokes. They understand the point is not to hurt people. It's just, you're trying to be funny. You're pushing the line to see what society tolerates. That's not the only reason. It's about making astute points and being critical. And sometimes you might be critical of somebody in a way that's offensive. It doesn't mean they're trying to hurt you, but the left doesn't tolerate that. So they've criticized Chappelle, they've criticized Gervais, they criticized Bill Maher, they criticized Obama. Enough. We're done. If you can make memes that are funny and fun, but you want regular people to make them, you run the risk of those people being canceled for being offensive. Sorry, that's what's going to happen. I'll leave it there. Let me know what you think. Will the left actually pull through with real meme warfare? Will they succeed? No, I don't think so. There was a study that shows that r/the Donald is one of the, if not the most prolific meme generator on the internet. I don't think you're going to win. They recognize it's asymmetrical right now. But you can joke about meme magic and meme war and all that, but seriously, sharing ideas, just the mass sharing of ideas is going to get you the attention you need to win. If Warren can't articulate her plan, and Trump's plan has been articulated a million times in various memes, people are going to be like, I don't even know what Warren's doing. Even though she has all these plans. You see, here's the thing. Let me end with this. She's the plan, right? She has all these plans she publishes. Dude, she put out a plan about healthcare, and I'm like reading through it like this is terrible and boring. The Trump supporters put out a meme, and it's Trump riding a velociraptor with, holding an American flag as he's like jumping over a barricade, and there's like explosions in the background, and it's like that emotion, that feeling of victory and America and unity and community is going to do profoundly better than some long-winded speech about $52 trillion Medicare. I'm sorry, you're playing the wrong game. They want to get in the memes. Warren has memes for that, does she? It's not going to work. I'll leave it there. I'll see you all in the next segment at youtube.com/TimCastNews starting at 6 p.m. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you next time.